I'm sure that this video will definitely reach the person who thinks that motivational is a scam. I'm convincing you of this because not a single video has been uploaded on this channel that I haven't personally applied to. That's why I want you to watch this video with your full focus and concentration from start to finish, because this is the video that could lead to your biggest comeback in life. It's been almost 3 years since I graduated from school, and even now, whenever I meet up with friends or we have a chat, I often hear them say, "Man, I wish I could relive my school days. I really miss that time." And honestly, when this comes up, I feel a bit awkward and don't like to say much about it. The reason is that I don't really have any fond memories of my school life, and I don't like to think about wanting to go back to it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying school was bad or anything. There are a lot of good schools out there, but for me, my school felt like a prison, and I was just a prisoner there. Every day, I was forced to do things I didn't even understand. No clue what they were or why we were doing them. Whenever I said, "I don't know why, but I can't do this," they'd just show me the other students and say, "Look at them, how quietly they're working hard. If they can do it, so can you." And if you didn't do what they told you, you wouldn't get any love from your family either. I realized that I wasn't getting any respect, and the same was happening to me. Gradually, I started feeling like studying was a waste of time if I did anything else. I've pushed myself to try, but studying just doesn't work for me. No one explains why I'm going through this. Everyone just seems focused on scaring me. So I accepted that studying isn't for me, and I felt like a loser who doesn't deserve love or respect. This isn't real life. I was just killing my own self-respect. Now listen carefully to what I'm about to say, because it might have happened to you too. Whenever a kid has self-respect, and a teacher scolds or punishes them, that kid wants to understand their mistake. If that kid gets punished without doing anything wrong, they either stand up for themselves or, if they can't, they cry. But since I had already destroyed my self-respect, I even stopped crying. I knew that if I'm not good at studying, so I feel like a loser, and losers deserve to get beat down. But no matter how small you make yourself feel, there's always a part of you that craves open skies and freedom. That's why there were times when I couldn't accept that small version of myself. I felt like starting a revolution, like I wanted to change everything. I'd put up with so much, and now I wanted respect, I wanted strength. I kept telling myself that I was going to study differently from now on. I'm making a comeback, and everyone's going to be shocked when they see me, friends. Now, I've got a question for you. Are you also thinking about making some kind of comeback? But is the path you want to run down really yours, or is it just an impulsive decision? There's no clarity or direction in that choice, just the chains of society holding you back. Remember, if you're a prisoner of society, you'll only go as far as society lets you, based on how hard they push you. Waylays guy, the pain from the stick will start to fade, and you'll begin to slow down. And when the society sees you slowing down, they'll hit you with the stick again. You'll say you want to make one more comeback, but as long as the society has a hold on you, any comeback you make will just be a form of slavery. 'Cause whatever you gain after the comeback is something you never really wanted in the first place. And you'd better find something better than you prove you can keep your weak excuse. Remember, a slave doesn't work for themselves, they work for their master, and whatever fruits they earn go to that master. If you really want to make the biggest comeback of your life, first off, take that societal leash off your neck and figure out what your heart really needs. Once you do that, The comeback you make will be the last one of your life. So listen up to what I'm about to say. Understand this clearly. You're never going to be able to give your all to something you don't know or understand. Having that societal leash around your neck means you're just going along with what's being told to you. Think about the direction you're heading in and where you really want to go, worrying about the direction. The society, relatives, and parents will decide all that. Your job is just to follow what you're told. So, before you think about coming back down this path, you need to figure out if it's the right one. Look, your family, school, and relatives have mapped out a world for you. And if you go along with that, you're considered good. If not, you won't have any respect. So first and foremost, it's all about that respect. Feel immediately the ability to alert you to the situation right in front of you. Forget about everything else for a moment and focus on what you've accepted as important. This is how you have to live. Put aside your goals for a bit and really think about what you need right now. What's urgent in your life? Money is important, health is important, a fulfilling life is important, and knowledge about the world is important. I'm talking about the basics so you understand that what you're doing right now is the best for your life. Don't think about what the world is doing or how it's doing it. Right now, focus on yourself and figure out where you're stuck. If making money is your biggest need at the moment, put aside what society has told you and go back to basics. First, understand when and how a person actually makes money in this world. People contribute to making the world a better place, and they get paid when they solve a problem for this world or for the people living in it. When they add value to someone's life, that's when the money comes in. Now that you understand this, you have a solid starting point. You've got a rule to follow that can help you move forward. You can sit down and figure out what problems you can solve that would make people willing to pay you for it. Endpoint 2. Once you know what to do, you can plan how to go about it. Stress has been linked with 3 primary causes of anxiety. Start from the smallest level and work your way up, just like with health and the gym. If you want to be consistent at the gym, first understand why you're going. If your only motivation is to look good and impress people or attract girls, that's not a strong enough reason. If people aren't impressed, you might not stick with it. But if building your body is a priority for you and you really get that, then you'll be more committed. The world pushes down the weak and makes those who cry suffer, but it can't control the strong. I don't want anyone to overpower me or cause me pain. I can't see myself as weak. That's why I go to the gym. This reason is super strong. It's the reason that will get you to the gym every day, because it's about the urgency of your life. If you don't go to the gym, you're accepting that when someone slaps you, you'll just take it. Or if someone pushes you around, you'll start crying instead of fighting back. This whole chapter is about that. If I were to explain it in a nutshell, I'd say that any new goal society throws at you can't really help you make a comeback. Even if you try, you'll have to keep trying because you'll keep facing setbacks. Your current situation can pull you back because you're more connected to it. You know that if you don't sort things out, you're going to be in trouble. You have no choice, guys. What I'm saying applies to everyone in general, but if you want to talk specifically about your situation, if you want to talk elsewhere, then if you want to talk about your problem, you can have a one-on-one call with me by clicking the first link in the description. The other thing that's holding you back is your own body. Understand this carefully. There are 3 paths you can take, but you can only walk on one of them. The first path is the one society pushes you to follow. The second path is the one your body gets tired of. And the third path is the one you should actually be walking on. Like I mentioned in the last chapter, if you blindly follow the crowd without thinking, you'll only get as far as society lets you go, just like a kid getting whacked with a stick. But when you break away from the societal path, you gain three things. First, clarity. You figure out what you actually want to do. Second, direction. You find the path you need to take. And third, urgency. You start to see clearly what's actually urgent and important in your life right now. Now you're all set to focus on what really matters in your life. You've got the right direction, clarity, and a sense of urgency. But guess what? Your body is going to get in the way. It'll tell you to stick to its path, forcing you to follow its lead. It'll say that the most important thing in your life is to sleep, chill, and take it easy. So what if you're out of shape? So what if you're a bit overweight? If you're lying around feeling gross and wanting to do something, just go for it. If you don't make decisions, you'll feel grateful. Scrolling is a task in itself. If you get bored, you can just grab a snack. And after eating, sleep comes naturally. The funny thing is that sleep hits you during the day, not at night, because at night you have to hit that target of scrolling through 5,000 reels. Honestly, living just to eat and sleep without any purpose isn't appealing to anyone. No one wants to do that, which is why people turn to substances. I've talked about this whole addiction thing in many of my videos. Now, the question is, how do we overcome our bodies? To beat the enemy within you, you need to figure out whether the voices you're hearing genuinely want what's best for you or not. Think of it like this. There are three people inside you. The first is the hero, the second is the villain, and the third is you. If the hero says you need to work for 5 hours today, and you agree, that's great. But when it's time to get to work, the villain quietly shows up and says, "Let's just talk for 5 more minutes." So you got to decide whether that voice is coming from the hero or the villain. Mason hesitated a moment before responding. Listen, there are times when we can't help but stick to our goals. When we're really motivated, we have the strength to make the right decisions and follow through. But then, there are those moments in the day when we feel really vulnerable, like early in the morning when we have to get out of bed or right after lunch. That's when we're more likely to make bad choices, like choosing to give up instead of fighting or opting to sleep instead of getting things done. So if you really want to win, you gotta push through those moments. To become the hero of your own life, first stop fooling yourself into thinking you won't lose or that you won't get lazy or sleep in. If the reality is that you give in to the villain's mindset and end up losing, accept that. But now, come up with a plan that forces you to fight back, even when you feel your weakest. For example, if you need to wake up at 5 a.m., just setting an alarm isn't enough. Find a friend who wakes up at that time every day. If neither of you gets up, create a system where you have to be up by 5 a.m. together. Griff, first you need to stand here. If you don't show up or are late, you'll have to pay 50 nickels for being late. If you don't come at all, it'll be 1 rupee. If neither of you shows up, you both have to give 0 to a third person. If you think this idea is not good, tell your friend not to call me. Instead, they should come and shout my name loudly in front of my house until I get up and come out to stand in front of them. Keep calling me until that happens. If my parents scold me, I'll take it because I'm making you wait. And if I don't pick up your call, just call my parents directly. Set your alarm and tell yourself that you need to push yourself to get up. If you just set the alarm and think you'll wake up on your own, it won't happen. At that moment, you're not really yourself. Something else takes over. You have to come up with a plan beforehand so that when that happens, you can beat it. If you can't overcome it with willpower, then outsmart it with a good plan. You'll only do this if you genuinely want to get the job done and have the right intention to follow through. When it comes time to act, you end up backing down. But if you're not really committed to getting something done, you won't even have the guts to set an alarm. Deep down, you want to be where you are, just putting on a show that you're doing something. Remember, if you're not serious about getting things done, you might just be watching this video to convince yourself that you're making an effort. If you've ever tried to make plans to hang out with a friend who didn't want to go, you know you can't really force them. At that point, it's just as easy to say nothing. Just watch. He won't say no directly. He'll come up with a million excuses. If you give him a solution for every excuse, in the end, he'll have to admit that the real deal is he just doesn't want to go. So ask yourself whether you're really forced to do this or if you just don't feel like it. Telling yourself that you're still looking for solutions or figuring things out. How many options have you found in a day? And how many more will you find? But in the end, you're still not getting the work done. Remember, the magic you're searching for is in the work you're avoiding. And regretting wasted time is just wasting more time. If you want this comeback to be your last, keep this in mind. Don't settle anywhere. Keep breaking down your old ego and keep moving forward. The moment you accept something as ultimate, like getting a job, getting married, or having kids, you think you've settled in life. Once you settle down, it's like your life has started to turn into hell. No matter what you cling to, it's never going to be the ultimate thing. You were born to chase after the ultimate, not to just settle for something. Settling for anything won't bring you true happiness. It's the mindset of continually moving forward that will. The moment you think you've got the ultimate and stop striving for more, that's when the excitement in your life will fade away. What you've got isn't the end of the road. The proof? After a while, you're going to feel restless again, start getting bored, because the story of life isn't over yet. There's still so much to learn, do, and achieve. If you stop, you'll get stuck. So keep pushing forward. Don't settle. Remember, I want to live my best life, and the way I'm living now isn't the final chapter. There's always a chance to get better. Always a chance to move forward. It's old, and if it's dirty, you need to let it go and find something new. Staying where you are will only mean that if what you have isn't the best or the ultimate, it's going to bother you. This could be anything: your routine, your diet, your job, your relationships, your laziness, your desire for pleasure, your mindset, your conditioning. If all these things are stressing you out, then why are you holding on to them? You only get one life, and if you settle in the wrong place, you're stuck. You're going to say it again, that I need to make a comeback, but right now we're young, so we can really tackle life and fix things. But if you're 40 and say you're stuck in life, you won't even have the strength to make a comeback then. That's why I said at the start of this video that this should be the last and the greatest comeback of your life. If you liked this video, I want you to share it with one friend who really needs to see it. And if you want to chat with me one-on-one, check the description. Make sure to click on the first link.